Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery office hours. It is early May. In Boston, we are having inconsistent weather, frequently nice or rainy, depends a little bit. Hopefully, it's nice wherever other people are.
Inconsistent as well here.
You still in Vancouver?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, well, Pacific Northwest, perhaps known for inconsistency.
Yes, no doubt.
So I think our first agenda spot is announcements and highlights. I don't think I have any announcements or highlights to call out. Other folks? Okay. Next section is sort of an open section to talk about issues, PRs, anything people want to talk through. If not, we can move to the one agenda item that we have.
Osquery 517.
Osquery 517.
Lucas, I'm guessing you joined to chat about this that you put on the agenda?
Yeah, mostly that.
And Constantine, I know that you looked into this as well. I think we may have discussed this last week, but I'm trying to remember. Is this a new issue with the strings being returned from the programs table?
I think with the MSIX packages, yeah, because the issue is there are like some system software or system programs that Microsoft doesn't really want to be displayed in the UI, I guess, and they have UUIDs there instead of like the actual names.
Go ahead.
This only exists for MSIX stuff?
Correct.
MSIX only landed in 517, right?
Correct.
So inherently it's a new...
So it is a new issue, yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And is the problem that it's for those things that have UUIDs, we display the UUID?
Correct, yeah. So like the display name for them is a UUID. They don't, like, Microsoft doesn't really publish a display name for some of the system programs that are like associated to Windows. Maybe I don't know if I can share my screen. I can show you, because I did a bunch of research on this and I posted
I think you should be able to share your screen, Constantine.
Let me see if I can find the issue real quick.
There's a present now button. If that doesn't work for you, let me know. I can see if I can.
Well, I'm reading it out of the issue here. Do you have an idea of what correct might be? Like, what should we display for these things?
Yeah, so we can use the there's two things we can do. One is ignore these packages. Or we can kind of use the install location where we have, it's like the install location is like C, Windows, system apps, and then there's like a folder, or I guess it's a folder that it's in, so we can use the folder's name potentially instead, and it's going to be better than a UUID, but it's going to say something like Microsoft.windows.FileExplorer. Like, it's going to be really hard to find just the File Explorer, like the pretty File Explorer name, for instance. And this happens for 4 applications that I've seen. Yeah, is there any reason to return them in programs? Right. That's the other thing is like, is there any reason? Because they're like system applications, they're part of Windows core. So it's almost like I don't think you can update them independently from Windows. So like if we're looking at it from a CVE perspective, like if there's a CVE, then you have to upgrade Windows itself.
Can you uninstall them?
Probably can't uninstall them.
I don't think you can because they're part of Windows core. They're under the system applications, system apps directory in Windows.
Do we have a sense of what Windows admins would expect in terms of whether we display them and how?
The funky part is not all system apps have this problem. Like there are other system apps that work fine. It's just these 4 in particular. So there's like something different about them.
Do you have an example of another system app? Really what I'm wondering is like, can you uninstall the other system app? Should we be ignoring it too?
I don't know if I have an example off the top of my head for other system apps, but
like
yeah.
If there were another system app that you could not uninstall that was part of core Windows, should we not display it?
I don't know what the right answer to that question is. I guess
It's interesting. I'm like when I search one of those UUIDs on Google, I get like some people discussing like, is there a way to uninstall these things? And like, what are these things? With they listing the same for, I think, yes, like there's this Reddit thread where people are listing the exact same 4 UUIDs that you found here.
yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's technically the name of the applications in theory, like that is technically what Microsoft names them. And the weird part is they have these weird PRI files, which is basically like their version of I18N for these names, and they don't have values for them even in the PRI file. Like I also used in the ticket, I think I used like the PowerShell, get appx package where object, whatever that object that UID is. And if you look at like even the PowerShell get command for it has the name displayed as the UUID. So it's not even like we can really deduce it from the PRI file. That's what like Microsoft names them now. It's like this weird UUID.
I feel like the question to us then is really, if Microsoft opts to name its packages unintelligibly, then okay, that's a choice they can make. Similarly, I imagine if I shipped a package named that UUID, you might want to know about it. So I think the question to us is whether we display packages that are part of core Windows or if that's sort of meaningless noise.
Yeah, so here's another one, Microsoft AAD broker plugin. That's also in system apps, but it has a regular display name, Microsoft AAD broker plugin, or like the Microsoft accounts control. That's also
if these are like literally the UUIDs, or sorry, if these are literally what Microsoft is putting into like the field where names go for every other application, then it does kind of give me the feeling that we should just be returning that, as confusing as it potentially might be.
How would we tell what a core Windows program was?
So that's what I started going down the route of like trying to identify them, and there's no there's no like flag. There's no way to really identify them. You have to look at the dependencies for it and see that like core Windows like is the only dependency that they have. That's really a quote unquote identifying them. And even that's kind of like a black magic way of doing it, because like if they don't have any dependencies or if there's something else in there like that's not a reliable way.
I mean, maybe you can infer it by if it's a Microsoft corporation publisher and it's in system apps, but like
Right.
I'm thinking about, if I were to expose this data, would I want to not display the core Windows things, and how would I detect that? And Microsoft Corporation and in system apps doesn't feel right.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no like flag that says this is a system only application, and it's not present in the UI.
I feel like we should just display them all then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also looking at this example you pasted of like using get appx package.
So
that also returns these as the name.
Right. So the reason I did that is because the get appx package uses those like PRI binaries that has the like values for the MS resource placeholder, and even those display the UUID. So like basically they don't have them at all. That's just literally the way Microsoft refers to them.
I mean, yeah, it definitely leads me to believe that like it's working as intended. And like, thanks Microsoft for not giving these things names that make sense. But then, then I think, Lucas, to your concern, I'm imagining you're thinking like over there in Fleet, in the software inventory, are we going to show some things with UUIDs that like don't make any sense to people? I guess I wonder if Osquery, like I do feel that I mean my feeling here, and it's definitely like loosely held, is that Osquery should be returning the same thing that this get appx package returns, but Fleet very well may want to special case these and show people something different, or hide them or something in things like software inventory.
If I were building an inventory of this for Collide, which I'm probably not, but if I were, I would attempt to infer what core Windows programs were, and I would add some attribute, and maybe I would just have to say signed by Microsoft and in whatever the system apps directory is, consider ignoring that. Because as you said, it's like the chess app, and I don't know. Do I want to see the chess app in inventory?
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm also just imagining like
iPhone app. Do I care about the stocks app that you can't get rid of?
Yeah. I mean, these kind of things are interesting, and especially when one of these seems to be File Explorer or some component of File Explorer, and it does make me think. Well, like imagine that you're at an IT help desk and someone was like, I can't open like my folders in Windows anymore, and maybe you in theory, maybe you'd actually want to look like, is this thing still installed by querying the programs table, or what, like, is it actually missing? In practice, I'm not sure anyone would know to do that unless they were involved in this conversation here, and particularly would know to look for it by this UUID. But
I think our sentiment is that Osquery should probably display it. We're sad that there isn't a way to identify it, and the downstream users of Osquery can certainly filter reasonably.
yeah, and this is well documented here in the issue now, and presumably if people search by these UUIDs in Osquery, I'm gonna double check that, but this issue should come up. Yes, it does, at least for one of them. So I feel like perhaps we would just close the issue as like,
This is
you know,
what
we're not exactly pleased, but this is accurate per what Microsoft does.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real nail on the coffin is the fact that this get AppX package name is also the UID, right? Like that's what Microsoft literally returns from their PowerShell version of it.
Yeah. Lucas, what do you think? Does that work for you?
Yeah, yes, I'm okay with that. I mean, if some users are confused, we can just tell them these are core applications. So it's not a big deal, I think. I just wanted to check if this was a block or not. Seems like it's not.
It's a
blocker,
great
so-
great QA find by I think JM Watts is Janice, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Awesome. Otherwise, I think you know, we completed the testing that we wanted to do on the YAR events. Thank you, Lucas, for that. So I think Fleet is ready to declare 517 stable. I think Seth, you were ready last time. Is that right?
I don't remember, but I'm certainly okay. Like, we've had this running in alpha for a little while,
Yeah.
and I pushed it to beta this morning, and it's been okay. So we
Okay.
we haven't seen any issues. And if not, we can always make another release.
Okay, great. So let's call it stable then.
Yeah, brilliant.
Awesome.
I'm busy closing that other issue we mentioned.
Oh, awesome. You're dropping that sort of the note about why.
Maybe that's what I was doing.
And I see Smaran. Did I say your name right? You've joined. Was there something in particular you wanted to discuss?
Hello, hi. No, nothing in particular. I just wanted to see how these things happen.
Okay,
Oh,
wonderful.
well.
Well, welcome. Glad to
Hi.
have you. Awesome. I mean, it seems we are through the agenda then.
Did not have a lot of agenda items, and we are done with them. And we get to mark this release as stable.
Exciting.
Always fun. Get to try and remember what we do to do that.
We need to write this down, Seth.
I've written it down every few years, and then I change it. I should rewrite it down because it's time.
If you're doing it today, can you write it down, please? Or can I ride along with you and write it down?
What would you like? Which way?
Well, maybe we can just why don't we do the ride along and I'll write while you go.
Okay. Well, I just flagged it as stable in the GitHub releases. So that's the first part.
Okay, great.
And I'm trying to remember if the order on the other parts matters.
Not that I remember,
I don't think so.
but you do usually do it. And I guess other folks, wrapping office hours, so feel free to drop. And should we stop recording?
We can record cutting a release.
Okay, great. Let's do it then.
Seems fine. Okay.
I'm
I'll
gonna
screen
take
share.
notes in here.
Screen share, present now. Let's see. Can I? No, maybe I can't screen share because it's too hard. Okay, sorry, no screen sharing.
Okay, so
Okay, 1, mark as stable. That's the first step.
I'm taking notes in the agenda doc now.
Oh, brilliant. We should put them somewhere else, but we can start with them there. Step 2 is kick off an Osquery website release. which is more, it's never as automated as it should be, let's say. Did this get merged? Yes.
There's a PR that needs to go in for that, if I remember.
There's a PR in the code signing repo. You could go thumb it.
Okay.
But this one, I think this is right. Let's see. Yeah,
You haven't created it yet. Is that right?
I haven't created what yet?
Oh, you mean in the website repo, not the code sign repo?
No, I meant the code sign repo.
I don't see a recent PR in the code sign repo.
Oh, let me go look. Yeah, there's one. Fix the R2 upload.
Oh, that one. That
needs thumbing. I've just been running it off the
I
branch.
see. Okay, I see. Sorry, I thought you meant you had created one just now.
Nope. Okay.
Okay, I've approved that. Shall I
Thank you.
merge it?
Yeah, you can just merge it.
Okay, that's not a regular part of the
Correct.
release process.
Okay. The next part is to start. I just added a release Osquery version to website thing. Which, why did this fail? Oh my god. I don't want to debug this. I don't want to debug Python code from Trail of Bits. No, okay. This is maybe okay. Maybe we just have to push the release to stable on the code sign path first. Okay. Well, we can do that then. So in code signing, every time I have to stare at these because I always forget a little bit. In code signing, we need to run the release to buckets workflow with a tag on it. We're releasing 517.0. We're releasing to production. Cool. Run that thing. It's going to take it a little while because because it's messy. So we want that thing. Needs the Osquery tag and select prod not test. Hopefully that note makes sense. It's pretty straightforward. Wait, because regenerating the RPM repo is slow. So the way the RPM repo works is it actually syncs everything from an S3 bucket to local disk, updates it with that one package, regenerates all the indexes, and then pushes it back into the bucket. And this is a fairly slow process. I have no idea if anyone's written better RPM management code. This is all pretty grotty. So that's how that works. When we actually cut the betas, it's a little bit more intense. Pushing to stable is pretty smooth now. Okay. I think that's everything, really. Just time now.
Okay.
I have one more item if there's time. Like,
Oh,
shouldn't take
absolutely.
long.
Hopefully it's
pasted a
not
link
something
here.
that could block the release.
No. It's just something out of nowhere. So I noticed that in the website we have a Windows ARM64 installer, but it's kind of separate. It's kind of in the bottom and available on GitHub. I'm guessing that's because it's a new platform, right? But now we have that GitHub has a new hosted runner for Windows ARM. Maybe we can start using that to test it there. I don't know if how big of a priority this should be, but seems interesting.
I have two answers for you. One answer. Okay. I think. Okay, so one answer is that our GitHub setup is very complicated. And if you or someone in Fleet is excited to work on it, there's probably lots of room to simplify the builds and how they fit inside GitHub. Since we built it out, there is now native ARM64 support. So we're doing lots of really weird stuff to get ARM64 running in our own AWS account. So moving that into GitHub's would be a win. Probably more complicated than it seems at first blush. Stefano probably has lots of context, but people want to put effort there. That would certainly be great. My memory is that the reason it's down on the bottom of the website and not like looking like the rest of them is because none of us really remember how to make the website look pretty. So we stuck it down there to get it done.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, it's a little sad. I'm sorry. But
No, that makes sense.
Windows ARM64.
Yeah, this is because we got some users that want to run native, no emulation or anything in Windows. I don't know why, probably performance. Yep, so I was curious about the status of Osquery there.
yeah, I think we consider it as stable in production as anything else. I don't remember how it fits into the testing frameworks. And my memory is the only reason that it doesn't have like a fancy little card there. I remember staring very hard at it and concluding that I didn't have a good way to make it work and I didn't know enough JavaScript.
Is it perhaps also that we don't release an MSI for it?
Yeah, it might be that. It might be that we don't release an MSI, and maybe
I'm
we
sure
don't
I
really
can figure out how to put it on to one of those
Yeah.
cards, but it would be, it's kind of inconsistent because there's no MSI.
Recently, I think Wine added support for ARM, I think the last version. So it should be, I mean, it's possible basically to build an MSI for ARM. Should be feasible.
And maybe I'm wrong, but also, like currently we are not testing anything from my Windows ARM64. So it was considered a best effort because no one has, I think, a platform to test it. And plus, again, I think also the OS itself, to get it, at least as far as I recall, it was very, very hard anyway. So like if you wanted to emulate it or virtualize it locally. And so,
Yeah, and actually,
yeah.
at Fleet, we're releasing it as experimental, like a Fleet D version with Osquery and everything in ARM. And we're actually going to test probably soon all of the tables there to see if they blow up or maybe do a blue screen of death or anything. And we'll probably report any issues in GitHub.
Yeah, Collide runs it. We've got users that are on Windows ARM.
I'm looking at our CI runners, and in the matrix for Windows, it does show ARM64.
We build it from Windows.
Sorry.
64.
Okay, I see. That's not actually running the tests on ARM64 though.
I'm going to stick with what I said at the beginning, which is that if you would like to have some people understand and update stuff, I am appreciative and supportive of that. And you will probably need help from Stefano.
And I did hear from someone recently who had tried to build Osquery on ARM Windows and was having trouble building them. I can't remember who that was. Someone on the fleet team. So
I was
on
building-
C, was that you, Constantine?
No, I currently build it on ARM Windows.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, no, I've
Oh.
been developing on ARM Windows. That's how all the Osquery stuff that I've been doing for Windows. So I was able to build it.
Okay, good to know. Let me try to figure out who that was, who I was chatting with, who was having trouble, and connect you with them. But I see on
Dante
CI we're
from Fleet.
building, we're cross compiling. Lucas, sorry, what were you saying?
Sorry, yeah, it was Dante from Fleet.
Oh, it's
Was having
Dante.
issues. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Lucas. I'll let Dante know.
Okay. Folks want to talk about anything else? If not, I think we call it. I'm gonna fight with some GitHub release jobs because it's not working right.
We also have an error on our website release job. Syntax.
The website release one, I think the error there might be that we didn't. The thing I see there is it was trying to download the package or something from pkg.osquery packages, and that won't be live until the sync to buckets job finishes. So I think I got the order wrong, and if not, I'll have to think a lot harder. The sync to buckets one just failed like midway through the S3 sync, and I don't know why. So I just told it to do it again. Maybe it'll work in 10 minutes. But I'll try and fight with that to get that out.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, you can see that it 404'd in that website release when it was trying to look for the package. I think probably because it's building. It's trying to make this awesomes to put on the website or something.
Something like that. I mean, it's reasonable, right? It's basing it off of the production uploads. So if there are no production uploads, then there's no website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that error, Stefano, and that I don't know. I'm hoping it's transient. So
The other error. So there's an error in the code sign repo. No, it's just running at the moment. Oh, oh no, this is a rerun. I see.
It's a rerun. Yeah. So the last run
Upload S3 and that completed, delete, failed, access denied. I'm trying to delete object operation.
It's actually not only one. There are all the delete failed. But yeah.
Interesting.
Just stop syncing to S3. We mostly push to R2 now. That's the only one that really matters. So
is this the same error that you were seeing on S3 that you're trying to fix with that PR, Seth?
no, that PR was fixing an error uploading to R2. There was like some version checksum calculation mismatch. I would have to go look at that PR again because it did fix the R2 upload error, not the S3 upload error.
Okay.
Yeah, this, I don't know what this S3 one is yet. I have done zero internet searching. Yeah, okay, rereading this PR, what happened is R2 updated its supported checksum list and diverged from AWS. So the AWS CLI and the R2 servers did not agree by default.
Okay, got it.
You could fix it by simply passing a command line flag along. Yeah, and that only updated the R2 syncs, not the wonder. Some of this did change some things, but I don't think those matter. No, it's only up. Yeah, none of this should really have impacted S3. Well, I need to. There'll be another PR.
Yeah, it seems weird. Like it seems like maybe there's not permissions on like the role that's associated with the access key, the S3, like the AWS access key. But then it seems like, whoa, what would have changed?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's something where like, did it used to need a delete for a replace object? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
I guess we'll see if it works on the next run. Seems likely to fail, but
Yep.
yeah, and your changes here did not affect the upload to S3 part. So that seems unlikely.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to let this sit and run in the background and then try and do some things. So I'm going to vanish.
All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Thank you
Thanks.
all.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.